It's Championship Sunday time on Game Day View. We've got picks, point totals, and individual performance numbers for both title tilts.
They're going to run a sprint option. Touchdown! Kansas City, just like they started Super Bowl 54.
In Kansas City, it's a showdown of two top offenses. Let's just throw out the clock this week. First one to 50 wins. If it's the Chiefs, they'll defend their title in Super Bowl 55. If the Bills win, I'm buying stock in folding tables.
Looks to throw, lofts it down the middle. Lazard's got it, and he's gone! Allen Lazard, 58 yards!
And in Green Bay, it's a matchup of the greatest quarterback who ever lived and a guy who won 6 titles in New England. Nope, not a bitter Pats fan here at all. Look, if Brady versus Rodgers and Lambeau with a trip to the Super Bowl on the line doesn't interest you, then maybe you're watching the wrong network. You're hearing Ricky Hollywood, and this is Game Day View, delivered by Pizza Hut. Here now, Cynthia Freeland, Greg Rosenthal, and Andrew Hawkins.
That's right. Welcome to Game Day View, delivered by Pizza Hut. Here we are going to break down every aspect of championship weekend. All right, now we're going to start it off with the Bucs offense versus the Packers defense. Where I'm going right now, I'm looking at the matchup, or I should say the matchup problem that Mike Evans presents to the Packers once they get in the red zone. Mike Evans, listen, one of the best wide receivers in the league, and in the red zone, he has 10 touchdown catches from Tom Brady this year, a stat that is only competed with by Randy Moss and Gronkowski. And on top of that, he has a 36% catch rate, which leads the NFL. So the problem with that the Packers will have, that if they allow the Buccaneers to get down in that red zone, they're going to have to take away Mike Evans. Otherwise, there will be a lot of points put up on the board, Cynthia.
Yeah, I'm totally in agreement with you. The area that I'm looking at is actually Tom Brady using play action. We often think about Aaron Rodgers, who does lead the NFL with 21 touchdowns on play action, but Tom Brady leads the NFL with the most yards per reception when using play action, or yards per throw when using play action, with 10.2. Interesting part here, when you look to see kind of when they use it, it's not as often, but it's super efficient and effective when it does. So I'm actually looking to see how Tom Brady can maybe trick us a little bit.
Yeah, they've been using play action more since their bye week, and their running game has been better since their bye week. All the talk about Brady and his receivers, that's the foundation of their offense, but Ronald Jones is a baller. I love the way he is running, especially coming off of an injury. Leonard Fournette also really running as well as he has since he was in the championship game against Tom Brady back in 2017 with the Jaguars. They changed the game last week against New Orleans when they started picking up significant gains on early downs. It set up easier situations for Tom Brady. And Hawk knows the way to beat a Mike Pettin defense is by running the ball. He lets you do it. And I think these running backs are going to ball out on Sunday.
Hey, man, no unnecessary shot to my guy Mike Pettin in his defense. All right, now we're going to flip to the other side. We're going to look at the Packers offense versus the Buccaneers defense. And I'm going with the run game, but I'm going with the run game on the Packers side. See, the thing about this offense that, comes from the McVays, the Shanahans, Mike and Kyle, is that people think when you see the big-time passing that it's a passing offense, when so much of this is predicated on the run. Actually, all of it is predicated on the run. Even the pass plays and the play action are designed to look like the zone running scheme that they run sideline to sideline. So for the Packers, it's imperative that early on they establish the run, not just by, setting the tone for the game, but also they can't get to those big-time shots down at the stretch of the game until they get to a certain amount of run plays, Cynthia.
You set me up perfectly, just like a perfect host does, just like Aaron Rodgers does, especially when he's facing the blitz. Now, if you look back to their Week 6 matchup, both of his interceptions that were costly, that really determined the game, they happened on third down when facing the blitz. But these are unfavorable third downs because they didn't listen to Hawk and they didn't have the first and second down be really efficient with the run. So when you look to see what Aaron Rodgers has done since Week 9 against the blitz, just 13 touchdowns, which is the most in the NFL. There was one interception. It wasn't as costly. It wasn't kind of what you saw in this matchup. So I'm looking to see if Aaron Rodgers can stay efficient first, second down so that he can face the blitz with no problem, no big deal, relax, move on.
Yeah, the whole season he's been so relaxed. That game was an exception, but otherwise he's just zen. Like, I want to be like Aaron Rodgers, at least in like what I'm doing, just calm and collected. I mean, look at him in the end zone right here. He's got the whole world crashing around him, just moves slightly, goes to his third or fourth receiver in a third window. Oh, no problem at all. Like, I don't need to make the spectacular plays if I'm Aaron Rodgers all the time. I'm mostly going to get the short ones, but when I need to, I'm going to unveil a throw like this in a 2-minute drive and just show you that I can still do anything I want. When he was on the goal line running last week and he does that little pump fake to Leonard Floyd coming up, again, it kind of just showed me that like he is at a point right now where the game is so slow for him. It's kind of like Cynthia, doing math. Just the world slows down and she knows exactly what to do.
That is my happy place. And another thing I'm happy about is that Davante Adams is going to have more than 87 receiving yards against the Bucs and, spoiler alert, a touchdown. Adams has averaged 103.1 receiving yards per game with 12 receiving touchdowns in 8 games against bottom 12 pass defenses this season. By the way, Tampa Bay finished 21st in pass defense, allowing 246.6 passing yards per game, so more than 87 for Davante Adams. Hey, Greg, can we get some sneaky good things to hear about in this game?
Oh, yeah, we got a new segment this week. It's a sneaky good matchup. It's Tom Brady going up against Mike Pettin. They used to face off a lot in the AFC East when Pettin was with the Jets and then the Bills. And I really look at the middle of the field right here. Pettin, I think, is going to give up some plays over the middle. His linebackers and his safeties are not great in coverage. That's where Chris Godwin can do some work. Cameron Brate, Rob Gronkowski, and again, it's all about adjusting. And so to me, Brady's a coach on the field. He's going to try to figure out what Pettin is doing, adjust, and find those receivers over the middle of the field. Now, another new segment. I mean, it's the Hawkeye. I'm excited for this one, Hawk.
You should be, because everyone wants to know who Hawks got his eye on, and it's Marquez Valdes-Scantling. The reason being, this guy is a long ball magnet. All right, so the big deal about this offense, and I alluded to it earlier, is you have to use the run to set up the play-action pass. This isn't that it's a pass-happy offense. It's that their passing game is super efficient, and the reason why it's super efficient is you need an over-the-top guy. MVS is one of the fastest players in the league, 20 yards per catch, because they lull you to sleep and then they go up top. So the Buccaneers, you better have your eye on MVS because the guy is primed to have a long ball on Championship Sunday. Ricky, what do we got next?
Let's make a pick already. Bucs at Packers. Bays, goats, and cold. Oh my.
All right, so the Packers are favored in this one by 3.5. Thank you, Ricky. I am going with the Packers, and I'm giving you a score this week. I'm going 38-35. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, and the reason I'm going with the Packers is the Bucs early in the season, that kind of middle section where they went on a little bit of a dip, they had trouble with methodical quarterbacks. Drew Brees lit them up that way. Teddy Bridgewater, I think, started the game 13 for 13. Jared Goff had a huge first half against them. And this offense, and with Aaron Rodgers as well as he's been playing, they are primed to do the same thing. So for that reason, I had them getting the edge. I think it'll be close, but I think it'll be high scoring, Cynthia.
So I think it's going to be just a little less close than you have it. I have 28-24. Packers take this one. Why? Well, it's Aaron Rodgers in the deep pass. I know we've talked about Tom Brady in the deep pass, but he's missing one of his main pass catchers in that situation, mainly Antonio Brown there. So for me, the advantage goes to Aaron Rodgers and this offense that's going to get their revenge on that Week 6 loss.
Ooh, I mean, how about Hawk putting up 73 points there in that game? I have a high-scoring game, too. Not that high-scoring. And I have the Buccaneers winning this one in an upset 31-30. It's really hard to choose between these two teams, but I think the defense for the Buccaneers has some guys that can make that one play that changes the game. It's all about who gets the ball last, and who always gets the ball last in these games. It's Tom Brady. I mean, he gave me a lot of joy as a Patriots fan over the years, so I at least got to back him up this week. Ricky, take us to a break, shall we?
Point.
So that's who we've got representing the NFC in Super Bowl 55, but what about the AFC? That's coming up in just a bit, we promise. But first, how many yards will Brady and Rodgers throw for? And how many first half points will be scored in the Battle of the Bays? We'll tell you next on Game Day View, delivered by Pizza Hut.
Hey, one job, that's win.
Slant cut, Kelsey at the 10, 5 angling left, dives into the end zone, touchdown!
Josh Allen just threw a grain of rice through a keyhole.
Guns it into the end zone, intercepted! He may go all the way!
The play of the season.
They're going for it, they flood it right, caught Tyreek Hill, stays in bounds! Chad Henne out of the bullpen!
All right, now let's talk AFC Championship and look at the matchups we'll be looking for when the Bills offense is on the field versus the Chiefs defense. For me, it's Tyrann Mathieu, the Honey Badger. Listen, I think this guy is underrated, even though we know how great of a defender he is. He is second in picks in the last 2 seasons. He's just as good in the box as he is in coverage. I think he is this generation's Ed Reed / Troy Polamalu, you name it, and he is a guy that the Bills need to account for. I think what the scariest part is his improvisation. He'll be doing one thing in a play, he'll get a sense of something, and completely change it up and wreck an offense's chemistry on that play. And I think it's something, again, Josh Allen and this Bills offense has to account for. Otherwise, he could flip some turnovers and the field and really put him in a bad situation, Cynthia.
Well, the interesting part here is mine's kind of related to that because if you look on the injury report, both of their starting corners, Rashad Fenton, Bashad Breeland, they're on the injury report. We don't know if they're going to be 100%, even if they do go, which means you could have a Stephon Diggs mismatch problem, not just when he's targeted, but also when he's not targeted. Honey Badger can only be in one place at one time. I know it seems like he can be in 7, but he can. Diggs has 100-plus receiving yards on 5 different routes, a touchdown at least on 8 different routes. That's tied for most in the NFL. He's top 5 in yards on 2 different routes, hitches and goes. These are all really great things. And, of course, Stephon Diggs has been really, kind of sneaky good because we weren't sure exactly what we're going to see from him coming from Minnesota. But ultimately, he's been getting better in the playoffs. So if they're missing pieces at corner, this could be a game-breaking type situation.
I'm with you. I mean, Stephon Diggs to me is wide receiver 1. With all love to Devontae Adams, I think Diggs is the best guy out there. And I think there's going to be opportunities. When you look at the first matchup when these two teams played, this Chiefs defense is going to give you something. And whether it's the short pass or the long, in the first matchup, they blitzed Josh Allen a lot. And, when you watch that tape, a lot of open receivers deep down the field. There was bad weather in that game. There might be bad weather in this one. But Diggs got open. John Brown got open. I think Gabriel Davis can get open. And depending on what the Chiefs defense wants to give you, I think they're going to take some risks. That's what Steve Spagnuolo does. He sends the house. You got to take advantage and hit some deep shots.
Absolutely. These Bills receivers are PhD level when it comes to getting open, especially versus man-to-man. All right, let's chat some Chiefs offense versus Bills defense. Now, what I'm looking for here is I'm looking for this Bills defense to be aggressive but not risky. I mean, we talk about Patrick Mahomes, and if you blitz him, he actually gets better. So you don't want to be too risky with the defense, but they can't be as passive as they were in Week 6 when they hung 2 safeties back and they dared the Chiefs offense to run the ball, because that's exactly what they did, and they ran it literally down the throats of the Buffalo Bills. So that's too passive. You have to play a little more aggressive than that and find that sweet area. I know it sounds like, you're asking them to be perfect, but the reality is to beat this Chiefs team, you have to play perfect, Cynthia.
True. And you know what's funny is Next Gen Stats, which has been calculating it since 2016, they calculate exactly zero blitzes in that last matchup, which is really interesting because that's the first time that's happened in Next Gen Stats history, the only time that it's happened so far. It is a real chess piece type of situation. And if there were some issues with Clyde Edwards-Helaire not being available or Lev Bell not being available or not 100%, that was kind of an interesting dynamic to look at in this last one. So Leslie Frazier, good job on really trying to figure it out, because if you look to see where, just like you said, where Patrick Mahomes ranks against the blitz, passer rating, touchdown to interception ratio, and yards per attempt, all first in the National Football League. So it's really pick your poison here. Which one's going to be the harder way to stop Patrick Mahomes?
Yeah, I've said all year, when you play the Chiefs offense, just picking the different way you want to die. And we know that Mahomes is out of the concussion protocol. We don't know how that toe is. And so I think he's going to need help from the running game. And you mentioned Clyde Edwards-Helaire. The expectation right now, it appears that he could play in this game. He did practice all week, and he made a big difference in that first matchup, making guys miss at the second level. I love what I saw out of Darrell Williams last week. The running game did get going for the Chiefs. And oh, by the way, we get Sammy Watkins back. Usually if a team is missing their first-round pick, Edwards-Helaire, and then Sammy Watkins, who just shows up and rolls out of bed and gets 100 yards every time he's in the playoffs and is getting paid $17 million for games like this. Usually you make that into a big deal. These guys returning really spreads out their offense, makes them a lot better, and makes them even tougher to stop. Cynthia, let's do some math, shall we?
Okay, let's do some Josh Allen math. And Josh Allen projects to have more than 33 rushing yards. That seems like an easy number. Well, look at this. Including the playoffs since Week 6, Allen has 33 or more rushing yards in 6 of 13 games. And that includes 42 against the Chiefs in Week 6. Now, if you look to see what happens typically in playoff games, he actually averages almost 50 rushing yards per game. That's 49.7. It's 3 career games, whereas he only averages 35.5 in the regular season. My math here says there's a really good opportunity for Allen to use his legs to try to stay away from the Chiefs, who don't bring a ton of pressure. The lack of pressure means a great opportunity for him to earn those rushing yards. So, Greg, what is something sneaky that I need to be aware of in this game?
How about a sneaky bad matchup? And that's Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill against anybody. I mean, this is really the base of this offense, right? I mean, Hawk knows, like, if you get double teamed in the NFL, that opens up everything for everyone else. Hawk got double teamed all the time. Why not? Let's just say that. These two guys, you can't double team them both, though. And right now, Kelsey, especially to me, is the best tight end in the league, and his mind meld with Patrick Mahomes is just unstoppable. And so when these two guys are on the field, and then you also have Watkins out there, you can't double them both. It's a bad matchup. Tre'Davious White, by the way, for the Bills, their best cornerback. Even he can't cover Kelsey. He's not playing that great over the last couple of weeks, so I really like Kelsey to have a big game. What is the Hawk guy looking at right now, Hawk?
I mean, what did you leave left for me, man? You covered it all. But okay, I'm going to go to the Buffalo side because in order to beat the Chiefs, you got to put up points. And the X factor for the Buffalo Bills is Cole Beasley. I'll tell you what Hawk's eye is on. It's on the tear falling from it when he's seen a slot receiver make the All-Pro team. Okay, that's what his eye was on. That was Cole Beasley. My man is, again, no one can cover him in man-to-man. He is the one who helps Stephon Diggs stay open, and John Brown and Isaiah. All these guys are so good at man-to-man, and it starts with Cole Beasley in the middle because linebackers can't cover him, safeties can't cover him, and corners have trouble staying with him. Ricky, what do we got next?
All right, we've stalled long enough. Bills at Chiefs. Winner to the Super Bowl.
All right, Chiefs are favored in this one by 3, and I'm going with the Chiefs. My score for this one is 33-24. For all the points Greg talked about, this offense is just too good. Travis Kelce, to me, in this will define championship weekend because you honestly cannot cover the dude in man-to-man. There's nothing you could do. And when you mix him with the arm that Patrick Mahomes has, come on, man, it's lights out. So I think the Chiefs win big here, and I think the Bills struggle a little bit offensively, similar to how they did last week, Cynthia.
Okay, so I have a win for the Kansas City Chiefs, too. Not quite as dramatically as yours. For me, it's a 5-point win, 30-25 in this matchup. So not quite as big, but still a high-scoring game. The difference maker here to me is Tyreek Hill. If you look at Tre'Davious White in coverage, and I love Tre'Davious White, but against deep passes, it hasn't been so good lately, like over 105 passer rating allowed. That's going to be a problem when you talk about guarding Kelsey, Hill, Watkins, Hardman. Yikes, going to be a problem.
I got the Chiefs too. We're on meme alert. It's official. I have the Chiefs winning by 4 points. We all have a high-scoring game, and I'm just hoping for a great one. Take no disrespect, Bills Mafia, because I know they're going to come at us. I think all 4 teams entering this weekend have a legit chance. Like, if I had a model, I would say over 20% chance. Like, it is about as even a 4-team party right now, a tournament, as I can remember, but I do have the Chiefs winning. I never pick against Patrick Mahomes. Hawk, what's next?
Yeah, Bills Mafia doesn't usually get offended, but it is time for Who You Got, delivered by Pizza Hut. All right, we're going to recap who we have going to the Super Bowl. I'll go first. I'm going Chiefs versus the Packers. To Gray's point, all these teams are really good, but you can't bet against Patrick Mahomes. And also, on the other side, Aaron Rodgers is MVP of this season. Come on, what are we talking about, Cynthia?
I mean, I think that you're totally right that Aaron Rodgers will be the MVP, and it's really hard to pick against the Chiefs. I do think, I'm with Greg, though, that it's a really balanced matchup. Like, either of these teams in either game could end up being the one that wins. I think in the model, I was just trying to look, there's no one with more than a 58% chance to potentially get there. So that's really good. Greg?
See, I was right. We're on double meme alert now, by the way, because of this. And look, I'm being nice to you guys. I'm giving you a chance to come back in the playoff picks here by going with the Bucs.
All right.
Nice.
Well, you kind of kept us off meme alert, so that was nice of you, Greg. Appreciate you taking one for the team. All right, that was Who You Got Who You Got delivered by Pizza Hut.
Our Super Bowl picks are in, but we know you want more than just game picks. After this timeout, we'll tell you how many yards Josh Allen throws for and which Chief players score touchdowns. This is Game Day View, delivered by Pizza Hut.
job, that's a win. If I won, it's 500, man. That's all that matters, son. Great day to be great. Win on 3, 1, 2, 3, win!
Winding up, going deep to the end zone. Yes! And he's up and in. He's got him. Touchdown. Allen looking. It's out. Taking a shot. Up in the air and he's caught. What a connection. Touchdown. Kansas City.
Play fakes him off, taking himself, and he's in!
It's time for Gaining Greatness, presented by Sleep Number.
My sleep number is 40. I don't know about you guys, but that's mine. And this is the first one in this segment of Gaining Greatness. Patrick Mahomes is going to pass for fewer than 310 yards. Why? We told you before, they're not going to implement the blitz. Leslie Frazier is going to be smarter with this. They're going to force Kansas City to run the ball. Now, 310 is a lot. So in this case, it's still going to be a high number, but 310 is a little blood. Greg?
I mean, I'm not going to say I agree, but the way that this could happen would be there aren't many possessions, that it's like that first game where both teams are kind of moving the ball slowly, and even if they're scoring a lot, it's only 8 possessions each, and then it's tough to rack up the passing yards, especially if you're running the ball well, like I think they will.
All right, so I like that we agree here. All right, the next one. This one's for you, Hawk. Josh Allen projects you for fewer than 305 passing yards. Including the playoffs, Allen averages 281.9 in 2020, including a season-low 122 passing yards in Week 6. That was their loss to Kansas City. This is an interesting one because, like I said, it's going to be a slower sort of pace, just kind of what Greg articulated. Do you agree or disagree? 305 is a lot, man.
That's a lot of passing yards, and I agree with you. You could lock that one up. And I also think the Buffalo Bills, although the run game isn't as good as any of the other teams in the playoffs, I do think they're going to try to at least try to eat some time off the clock to, again, try to keep Mahomes off the field.
I like it. Okay, Greg, back to you. Tyreek Hill projects for fewer than 78 receiving yards. I'm not saying he's going to have a bad game. I'm not saying he's not going to score a touchdown. I'm just saying that 78 is too many. He's only targeted 3 times in their last matchup. He's targeted 6 or more times in every other game this season, including the playoffs. So if you look to see, it's just really more of a situation of let's lock down Hill. That's what I think Leslie Frazier will focus on, and then kind of figure out some of the other pass catchers. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, I agree, and you can see some of his production coming out of the running game there, too. The one thing we haven't talked about in this show is weather, and you just don't know. There's a chance, at least, if it's windy, that it could make the passing game and all these numbers a little tough to reach.
Agreed. Hey, Hawk, this one's for you. Stephon Diggs projects for fewer than 94 receiving yards. 94 is a lot. The interesting part about this is he was held to 6 receptions and 46 yards in their Week 6 loss. The interesting thing is that you've seen him be super efficient. When I told you how much I liked him, how much he was interesting, it's also his effect when he's not the subject of a target. So getting Gabriel Davis more opportunities, for example, John Brown. So 94 is a little too high for me.
You know, I like 94. I think he goes more than 94. The first time around, it was like raining in a monsoon, man. The receivers, we hate rain. That's like we're always bad. So I could see a big game from Diggs in this one.
Okay, all right. Last but not least, this one's like my Neapolitan ice cream. I've got Clyde Edwards-Helaire, assuming he plays. Hill and Kelsey will all score a touchdown versus the Bills. It's like, the perfect blend. Strawberry, vanilla, and chocolate ice cream all in one.
Wow. I mean, when Cynthia comes up with like a specialty flavor like this one, you're not going to go against her. There's no way to pick against that.
Awesome. Well, that was Gaining Greatness presented by Sleep Number. Ricky, take it away.
Play NFL Pick'em Party, the new free-to-play game presented by Caesars Rewards. Answer 15 questions about this weekend's games to win exclusive prizes, including a VIP package to next year's Super Bowl 56 in Los Angeles. Visit NFL.com/pickparty to learn more.
It is now time for Monday Morning Timeline, where we predict what we'll be tweeting about Monday morning after the championship Sunday slate of games. Cynthia, why don't you kick us off?
Well, since our friend Greg here doesn't like the playoff standing versus regular season, if you look at the whole thing, that's a wrap, fam. I don't even need to win. I've wrapped up the full season picks before Sunday even kicks. I could actually tweet this right now. I could have tweeted it last Monday.
I mean, people remember the playoffs, though. That's where legends are made, right? I mean, poor Phillip Rivers. They don't give him credit for the regular season. Let's go to my tweet, shall we? You know who's great in the regular season and the playoffs? Andy Reid. But here's that feeling when you realize you have to beat Tom Brady again in a big game. You remember the Super Bowl 2004. How about the Chiefs in the playoffs 2015, 2018? Tom Brady took them down all 3 times, and I think it's going to be the Super Bowl again.
Oh, man. All right, speaking of Tom Brady, throw my tweet up there. All right, so when somebody else walks into your home for the Super Bowl, get it? Because Aaron Rodgers is going to Tampa and Tom Brady walks in people's home. You get it. It's a Twitter thing. Cynthia killed us this season, and people don't forget that. I mean, everyone knows we can't mess with the model. But I still feel like I won last year. I don't. Why can't we find this data? This is a data show.
Check on it. It's been covered up.
Can somebody check it? All right, well, that's it for Game Day View. We will see you in 2 weeks, February 5th, 8 p.m., NFL Network. Enjoy the games. Peace.